Hi everybody, welcome to this tutorial on defining functions in Python. To help us get started, we're going to look at a silly little computer program which processes an array or a list of circles. Okay, so my program, which starts around about here, is going to complete a variety of tasks. The first thing it's going to do is populate the empty array with some circles. The next thing it's going to do is jump into the onStep function to create a game loop. What it's going to try to do, the next task, is to move the circles. The next task is to update the health of each circle. The next task is to kill any circles that don't have enough health, and the final task is to display the winning circle. Okay? Now, each of these tasks can be coded as functions because they each have a specific responsibility within the computer program. This is perfect for function definition. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to call a function to complete this task. And when we go into the onStep function, I'm going to call 4 more functions. So this is what my computer program is going to be doing. Now, in order to call a function, first we have to define it. Okay? So above my program, I'm going to have some space for function definitions. And the first one is, let's start with this populate function. Just while we're doing this, I'm going to comment out these. Let's just comment those out and just put a placeholder. Okay. So my first function definition is populate. And what this function does is, using a loop, let's say 15, we're going to append some circles into this circles array, this one here. Okay. Now, let's say the x is 20, the y is I multiplied by 25 plus 20. I have thought about this. And the radius, or is it the diameter, of each circle will be 10. Let's make sure we're calling the function. Yes, we are. If we don't call the function, it won't work. Brilliant. Okay, so this is what we've got. Let me just make that clear, guys. If I comment that out, even though I have a function definition, if I'm not calling it, I can't use it. My program has to call the function. Okay, so that's what's happening there. Now let's move on to the move circles function. I'm going to define it up here. Oh, I tell you what, there's another thing that I want to do when I create a circle in the populate function. For each circle in the array, I'm going to give it a health value, which will be a random number between, let's say, 10 and 100. Okay? All right, let's move on to my move circles. Now that we're coding the onStep function, we don't need the pass anymore. We're going to start doing some stuff. Move circles. So here's the function definition. And we're going to process the entire length of the circles array. I think it's 15 at the moment. It's 15. Len circles is the same as 15. Each circle will update its center x value by a random number. Let's say between 1 and 3. So there's the definition. My program is calling it. Let's run the program. Fantastic. Okay. Now let's say we can only move the circles if each circle that we're processing has a health which is greater than or equal to, let's say, greater than 0. If the circle has some health, we will move it. Okay? So I've just kind of changed the move circles definition. Let's run the program. Brilliant. So that's working. Well, it seems to be working. Now let's move on to the update health function. I'm going to call it inside the onStep function, and I'm going to define it up here. Update health. This is a function, definition. I'm going to process each circle inside the circles array. And I'm just going to say each circle will have a new health where we will take away a value from the current health. That's what that means. This is the same as circles I health equals minus random.randint, let's say a value between 1 and 5. So we're going to update the health. We call the function inside onStep. When we call it, we jump to the definition, we code the solution, and then we go back to the onStep function. Okay, so let's run this. Brilliant. Okay, so it seems to be working. Let's reduce the number just to give them a little bit more running time. Okay, maybe we can increase the minimum value of the health from 50 to 100. That might increase the running time as well. Not by much. Interesting. Anyway, now let's go to the kill function. We're going to call it inside the onStep function, and then let's define the kill function here. We're going to loop through the circles array again. And what we're going to say is if each circle has a health which is less than or equal to 0, we're going to change its opacity. Let's not say 0, let's say 50. Okay, so that's what the kill function will do. Whoops, for I in range. Ooh, that's interesting. We've got an error. Circles dot opacity. Now remember, circles is an array of circle objects. So we can't say circles dot opacity. We can only change individual circles inside the array. That's what this is. This is a circle. And we're using the for loop to visit each circle in the circles array. Okay? Awesome. Okay. Now, we're going to look at, you're going to try and code the display winner. I'll explain that in a moment, but let me just give you some insight into the power of functions. Let's say that we want to call this task 3 times. We could do this. Wow. Okay. So we've got one block of code, which we've got as a function here, and in my main program, I'm calling it 3 times. Why not? I could also do this. Call it 5 times. Okay? So this is the beauty of designing programs that use functions. You can reuse the block of code whenever you need to reuse it. Just keep calling it. Call it when you need it. This is the beauty of functions. The display winner function is going to turn the winning circle red. So winner is red with an opacity of 100. It gets 100 back as its opacity. Can you code a definition for the display winner function?